It is Wednesday. We welcome you into the program. This is the Tom Barfield Show, and we are happy to have you with us here this morning. Got a fun show, we think, for you today. We're going to visit with the athletic director at Belton ISD, Sam Skidmore. He's been a busy man, and we'll get caught up with Sam. We'll also talk some Cowboy football as the draft gets closer and closer. Kyle Youmans will join us from the Dallas Cowboy broadcast team. So that's the show for you here on a Wednesday. Lark Smith, good morning. How are you?
I am alive and well and feeling pretty good. I had a little baseball game last night, got a doubleheader today, and baseball is my life.
Yeah. So yesterday you were where? Killeen?
I was with Midway had scheduled a game at Killeen with the Killeen Kangaroos, but apparently someone left the sprinkler system on overnight.
In Killeen?
In Killeen. So the field was too wet to play on. So we met Killeen at Lake Belton High School, which is really, really nice facility. What's it, only 3 or 4 year old facility there. It's turf
or grass?
Turf.
Really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. Well, we had basically a press box to ourselves. Wind wasn't blowing at all. It was a little chilly night, but Midway comes away with a 24-0 win.
Excuse me?
24-0.
How 300 yards of offense?
Pretty much.
Those are not fun to broadcast. They're probably not fun, and I know they're not fun to umpire.
No.
They're probably not fun to play unless you're on the winning team. And then at some point, those are just tough games, aren't they?
They are. And I hesitate to say this because we are very short on umpires, and we need all the umpires we can get. But the base umpire looked like he was about 12 years old.
Start him young.
That's all I can say.
Get him in the system.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, and it's not just football. That's a great point. Football, basketball, baseball side, there's a great need for those to officiate. And I will tell you this. You will make a lot more money officiating today than we did when I started.
Well, we got $25 a game?
No, it was $18.50 per game.
And no travel.
Yeah. So, you know what? And we used to be your first couple of years, you weren't getting varsity games. You were getting JV games, and you better be proud to get those.
Yeah.
I mean, but the numbers have dwindled. Yeah. And they need officials. They're always looking for officials. And you know what? We may start getting some of those guys on the show.
We do.
We need to promote that because it really is. It's kind of, we talked about it yesterday off the air. When you have a sporting event, there's really 3 teams on the field. There's the home team, there's the visitor, then there's the officiating team because they have to work as a team, as a group.
Sure.
And you know what? They may be working high school or junior, whatever the case may be. But here is the point that I want to make to you. If that official is getting paid, then they are a professional umpire, a professional referee, a professional whatever.
Yeah.
If there is money exchanged for that service, they're professional. And there's a lot of schooling that goes along with it. There's classes that go along with it. There is a commitment level, Lark, that, I mean, for baseball, I know that we started in January or maybe even December meeting and having clinics and going to state meetings and the price to officiate, especially baseball, that equipment is outrageously expensive. So there is a commitment level to doing that. And then you get these people yelling and screaming who have absolutely no clue what the rule is.
Yeah.
But they think they do.
Sure.
And they let you have it. I used to laugh about that, especially the infield fly rule. When you're calling little Johnny out when he pops it up and it ball's in the air and it hadn't even started coming down yet, and you're calling him out for the infield fly rule, and people are going berserk, anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun to get some of these guys on that are presidents and vice presidents of these chapters, these local chapters, and give them an opportunity to promote their leagues.
Yeah. Texas Association of Sports Officials is the overall. Yeah, TASO is the overall organization.
Yep.
And there's a website you can go to. Just look at Texas Association of Sports Officials. Put that in the search engine, and on that site it will tell you everything you need to know about becoming a sports official, be it baseball, volleyball, soccer, whatever. And I mean, they need officials at all levels.
Sure. You know what? I'll tell you how old I am. When I started, it wasn't TASO. It was SUBA.
Yeah.
Southwest Umpire Baseball Association. Mm-hmm. And we had SUBA across
had the
our
hats
hat.
And yeah.
And now it's TASO.
Yeah.
So.
And it's tied in with the UIL to some, and there's lots of requirements that a official has to go through before he is allowed to call varsity games. Now they'll maybe let you go call JV games,
freshman games,
games, as far as volleyball and football and stuff like that, basketball. But, you get some experience and then they will get you games. I promise.
Absolutely. They will.
It's a very rewarding side hustle, as well as you got a little money on the side.
Well, and here's the thing. You got the best seat in the house.
Absolutely.
If you like sports, you got the best seat in the house. Now, I don't know how we did this infomercial for TASO, but we just finished it. So, really, I mean, seriously, if you guys are interested in sports officiating, they need guys and gals to officiate. I mean, look, you can do volleyball. It's 72 degrees in that gymnasium. So there you go. And side out.
It's in, it's out.
Yeah. So you can do that. I mean, there's all kinds of sports. So check it out, TASO. That's a good point. I was in Arlington last night, 5-2 Baylor. They win their 19th. And then we are off to Cincinnati this weekend. We play Friday night, Saturday. And did you see the Sunday game? It is 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Central time.
That's what you get when you play in a conference. It is from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yes, it is.
They wanted football in every time zone so that they can run a 11 o'clock game, a 2:30 game, a 7 o'clock game, and a 9 o'clock game.
And a lot of it has to do with travel, accommodating the opponent and getting them in and out.
Sure.
And so I think that's why we're playing so early on Sunday is I think the flights that I know my flight is early. In fact, I should be back in Waco by 7 o'clock Sunday night, which is unheard of for a road trip.
Good luck.
I know.
Good luck.
I know. I get it. And by the way, I have repurchased my playoff tickets for the Texas Rangers. I'm back in. I'm back on the bandwagon.
Because they beat Seattle 2 games and play this afternoon at 1:35.
Yep.
Had a chance to sweep the Seattle Mariners.
The Rangers are in first place as we start this broadcast today. First place.
Yeah.
The first place Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Let me know when you can say that in September.
You know what? I'm going to worry about September in September. Today, the Texas Rangers in first place, and I'm back in line to purchase my playoff tickets. So there you go. Colorado beat Houston last night, so that helped the Rangers. They are a half a game ahead of Houston. Rangers are 6-5, Houston 6-6 as play begins today. All right, we got a lot to do for you today. We are going to talk Belton Athletics. Sam Skidmore is going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. We are, as we mentioned, presented by our friends over at Toe King, Gary Hoffman and his team. And thanks to Thomas and to Todd Behringer and everybody over at Waco Body Men. They're on 116 Mary Street. You can check them out. Visit their website, wacobodymen.com. That's wacobodymen.com. And they can help you with advanced wellness, longevity solutions designed to help your body perform, recover, and thrive. I know there's sporting teams. There's sports teams that go use it. I mean, they showed me the other day where a basketball team was in town to play. A TAPS team, I believe, was in town to play a state championship game, and they played the semifinal game. And to recover quickly, they went to Waco Body Men and went through the program and was ready to go the next day. So, I mean, it's a cool place, Waco Body Men, and you can check them out at wacobodymen.com. All right, Coach Skidmore and Belton Athletics next on the program.
Morrison's Gifts, Waco's oldest family-owned gift store, wants to ask a question to the guys out there. Don't you just love gift giving? Does John Hart, Consuela, or Jellycat mean anything to you? If not, at Morrison's, we have your answers and your back. For 47 years, we have guided men and you ladies through the trauma of selecting the right gift for the right person. Come and see us at 4312 West Waco Drive in the Brazos Square Center, close to Jason's Deli. That's Morrison's Gifts, owned by a proud Baylor Bear.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Is your roof ready for the next Texas storm? Don't wait for a small leak to become a big problem. Call JK Roofing of Waco. Whether you need roof repair, a full replacement, or a professional inspection, JK Roofing has quality workmanship and dependable service you can count on. Locally owned and committed to protecting Central Texas homes and businesses. Call JK Roofing today for your free estimate and get the job done right the first time. Call JK Roofing 254-744-2211. JK Roofing of Waco. Strong roofs, honest work, and peace of mind.
Being stuck on the side of the road is stressful no matter what time it is. Tow King is here to help. A locally owned and operated family-run business, Tow King offers 24-hour emergency roadside assistance with trained operators and high-caliber equipment for damage-free towing. Tow King of Waco is a company you can count on. Call Tow King the next time you need help. Check them out on Facebook, and remember, slow down or move over.
Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatment, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
And you're back with us on the program. This is the Tom Barfield Show, and we are brought to you in part by Barfield Show Insurance in the Metroplex. And again, they can help you, and they help me. I promise you, they do. Home, auto, life, business insurance. This group's been doing this for over 60 years, so they can help you out with all kinds of good stuff. So you want to check them out, you can give them a call for a quote, 469-579-4982. That's 469-579-4982. And again, if you need home, auto, life, or business insurance, they can take great care of you, and you can give them a call today. All right, joined now on the program by Coach Sam Skidmore. Coach, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good. Yourself?
Doing great. Appreciate you being on. It's been a little busy time for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty busy. We got the 16 5A district track meet going on right now outside, and the district tennis. And then, this semester hiring 2 new head football coaches at Lake Belton High School and Belton High School. It's been pretty busy. All the spring sports, both girls soccer teams from Belton and Lake Belton went 3 rounds in the playoffs. So a lot of excitement going on and a lot of events going on. And, springtime is our busiest time of the year. So a lot of great things happening right now.
And I wanted to talk about that. For some, we all get in our mind at the beginning of the school year, when you have football and volleyball and cross country, that's busy, and it is. I mean, but the spring, you have everything under the sun going on in multiple teams, both boys and girls. This is your rock and roll time, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt. It kind of starts ramping up in February with the state swim meet, where both Belton New Tech, our third high school, was at the 4A state swim meet. Belton High and Lake Belton had swimmers at the 5A state swim meet, and then you go right in shortly after that. Girls soccer playoff starts, baseball, softball get rolling in district play, district track meet. And then you got regional track meet, or area track meet, regional track meet, state track meet. You got district golf just finished up. They're about to do their regional golf tournament, and then state golf tournament. Tennis finishing up district right now, district tennis tournament going on, and then they'll have regional and so on and so forth, and baseball, softball will start their playoffs. But this is the busiest time of the year. It's about I don't think I hardly see my kids in the evening once baseball, softball playoffs get rolling, with track and tennis and golf and everything else going on.
Sam, talk a little bit about the process between Belton and Lake Belton. Lake Belton's a fairly new program, new school. Was the growth such that you just had to do this, that you had to add that new campus?
So, I mean, we were getting, Belton High School was about in the 3,800, 3,900 range when we opened Lake Belton High School. And really what it determined to to our voters and our community and our board was, creating more opportunities for kids to experience things. You only have so many kids on a basketball team. You only have so many kids on a softball team, so many kids on in the first choir, so many kids, CTE programs, Skills USA. And so they really felt like we got to the size where we wanted to have more offerings, so more kids got to be a part of things. And I mean, right now, you got Lake Belton's going to be going up to 6A next year, Belton at 5A, and plus we have Belton New Tech, which is a 3A campus. So we're providing a lot of opportunities for kids to experience things and compete. And honestly, the thing that always bothered me the most was as a freshman in high school, you have 100 kids try out for freshman volleyball, but you and I both know kids develop at different rates. So maybe a kid doesn't make it freshman volleyball as a freshman and they get cut and they never get an opportunity to play and they give up. But some kids, we provide more opportunities. Now that kid doesn't get cut and they make the freshman A or B team, and then they develop, they hit a growth spurt, they mature, and now they're ready and contributing on varsity, which those opportunities weren't presented when you have 3,900 kids in your high school.
That's 100%. I've always felt that way. I always thought that way, because you're right. Somebody may, if you give up, you're done. And if you get moved on, you're done. But if you hang around and play on a B team or whatever the case may be, you may be a Friday night guy or whatever the case may be. That is a great point. Talk a little bit about the hiring process for you. Got 2 new head football coaches and campus coordinators, and you went out and got some dandies.
Well, I think we hit home runs on both hires. It was kind of a different process because Coach Sniffen announced his retirement right before Christmas, and so we posted that job, and then we went through the interview process. Had a lot of really good quality candidates apply for that job, and ultimately we were very fortunate, and it worked out where we were able to hire a guy that's 18 years experience, opening Leander Rouse, and Coach Josh Mann. Been the Central Texas Coach of the Year, been the Dave Campbell's 5A Coach of the Year, multiple playoff appearances, state semifinalist, just a really awesome coach and done a wonderful job. And then actually the day before we were going to announce him, Coach Cope took the job at New Caney West Fork. And so then we wrapped up one process and started right back into Lake Belton, and had a lot of great interest in Lake Belton, a lot of quality candidates. And, Coach Rogers over at been the OC at Westlake. He's been offered a lot of head coaching jobs, hadn't really been looking real hard. And me and him talked several times. And then we went through the interview process. To get a guy that's been to 7 state title games as either a position coach or offensive coordinator, has 5 state titles under his belt, worked at South Lake and West Lake programs, and seen how top tier programs operate on a day-to-day basis. And, ultimately though, at his heart, he went to a small school, went to Hardin-Simmons, so he understands both aspects and both dynamics of everything. So to get him in the fold, man, I'm so excited to see what both those guys do with our 2 programs. And of course, like with Lake Belton going up to 6A, Coach is very used to the 6A, been living in that world for a long time. I have to remind people, they talk about 6A. I was like, we're not that far removed from Belton being in that same 6A district. So it's not so foreign to us over here.
So kind of walk us in again, not every little detail, but obviously you have a number of applicants. What were you looking for as you pared those applicants down to finding that group of folks that you wanted to bring in for interviews? What was it? What were you looking for in the application process?
So the main thing is to listen what's going to be the best fit for your campus and that community. And each campus is different. You go to any high school in the state of Texas, and their campus, their needs, what they're looking for is going to be a little different. So we kind of went through our, the application process and the resume. We really listened to our stakeholders from both campuses about what they were looking for in their new campus coordinator, head football coach, because it's just as important to get a really good campus coordinator as it is to get a really good head football coach. And so what they were looking for, and so we started vetting the resumes. And then we went through 2 rounds of interviews. We went through a first round interview process, and we geared all our questions through that interview process over what the campus needs were and what our stakeholders were saying they were looking for in a candidate. And so then we didn't have a set number, moved candidates on to the second round, and then we came up with our finalists. after that second round. So that's kind of how the process went. And we geared our questions but totally off of the needs of that campus and what our stakeholders were telling us that they wanted, what my observations were, what the principal's observations were, and what the needs of that campus were, and what we were looking for in our next leader.
Visiting with Sam Skidmore, the athletic director for the Belton Independent School District. Sam, obviously, when you bring in a coach, boys, girls, whatever the case may be, winning's important. We all know that. But what are some of the other things that you want that coach and that program to achieve besides the winning aspect?
You know, the most important life lesson that I've learned through participating in athletics and being a coach, you know, I still talk to my high school head football coach quite consistently. It's guys that are really good at building strong relationships, but there needs to be a sense of teaching kids accountability, because we all know that ultimately not every game's going to go your way. And we want to see kids develop and learn accountability and learn life lessons, because ultimately we want to build good human beings for the future. I think athletics gives us the greatest platform there is to teach those lessons and help prepare people for being good stewards of their community in the future. Because in athletics on a daily basis, you're gonna fall short, you're gonna fail, you're gonna lose. How you overcome those things and what you learn from those losses are just as important as the wins. And so someone that's going to teach those things, build those relationships, create that culture of accountability, create that culture of excellence. You know, people throw out the word excellence a lot, and people ultimately go right to, well, that means winning. Not necessarily. Excellence is being excellent in everything you do. Whether, you know, you could be excellent at something and still lose. And so creating that culture of excellence, and we're going to do things the right way. We're going to hold kids accountable. We're going to create good human beings. Ultimately, that's what we're looking for in our leaders throughout our district.
Do the two campuses compete? Is it a rivalry yet? I mean, what does that look like? What's that dynamic look like?
So they don't play in football because, of course, they were 5A D1, 5A D2, and with Lake Belton going up at 6A. And honestly, when we were opening Lake Belton High School, I reached out to a lot of athletic directors throughout the state who have been through a split like that, and they all told me, don't let them play football as long as you possibly can. And so, you know, they are playing in other sports, and it is a rivalry. You know, it's going to be a weird dynamic next year because, you know, be honest, Belton and Midway back when pre-Lake Belton had a great rivalry going on. Belton and Temple, same thing. So Lake Belton's going to be getting in that. And then I think there's going to be a natural rivalry being built between Lake Belton and Midway and Lake Belton and Temple. So, I mean, at some point there's going to, you know, with being different classifications, I don't know how big a rivalry will be in for the next few years, as long as they're in different classifications. But it's been a good rivalry, and there's been some really good games going on. It's fun to watch, and it's a good atmosphere to get our teams ready for the playoffs, honestly.
Visiting with Sam Skidmore, the director of athletics for the Belton Independent School District. Sam, kind of walk us through your other sports. Where are you with your basketball? I know that your women's basketball team over at Lake Belton had a tremendous year. Kind of walk us through where you are as we hit March, and boy, I mean, or April actually. And we're kind of sprinting to the end, and it doesn't seem like it, but we're getting to the end of another school year. Kind of walk us through where you guys are on both campuses.
Yeah, and Belton basketball, they went 2 rounds. They were the co-district champions of that 16 5A district. Lake Belton girls had a phenomenal year, and that did some really wonderful things. Belton High and Lake Belton volleyball both made the playoffs. 3 of our 4 soccer teams made the playoffs. Belton High girls and Lake Belton girls actually shared the district title. They tied both their games against each other. They shared the girls 16 5A district title. Of course, district track's going on right now. We expect to get a lot of kids off to area and regionals. I think golf, I believe boys, Lake Belton boys got first in the district in golf. Belton got second, and then girls, Belton got first, Lake Belton got second. Baseball, softball right now, I think Lake Belton sitting in first place in baseball. Belton and Lake already played their series. They split their series with each other 1-1. Lake Belton softball is looking like they're going to win the district title. They took a game from Belton yesterday, 6-5, and I think Belton should wind up second in that district. So a lot of good things happening. Like I said, in tennis, I imagine if it finishes out today, like I think Lake Belton's going to win get a lot of kids off to area and regional tennis, and so is Belton High. So a lot of good things. A lot of kids keep going, competing down the road, and lots of busy road trips coming up for me.
Would you agree with me that when people are looking to relocate, particularly coming maybe from a different city, I think one of the first things, and I've always believed this, one of the first things that they go look at are the schools. Just take a look at the schools, take a look at the facilities, and see if that's where they want to place their kids. Is that a fair statement?
I think so. I know if people have the flexibility in moving to different areas of the state and they're moving an area, they're going to go do their research on what school district they want their kids in, particularly if they have kids. And it's going to be the facility. It's going to be what they find on the internet, social media about the schools, and if their kids are involved in athletics, what do the athletic programs look like? If they're fine arts, how's the marching band doing? If they're CTE, what kind of CTE offering they have? I mean, Belton High Skills USA is one of the best programs in the state. So if you got a kid that's interested in carpentry or metal buildings or plumbing or electrical, I mean that's going to be very appealing to people that are moving into an area. So I think people with children are going to do their due diligence and research. And so the more you can showcase the great things that are going on in your district and on your campus, the more people are going to want to be, come to your school districts and be a destination district.
Final thought for you, as you sit there on this Tuesday morning in March, or Wednesday morning in March, how has your job changed since you took that job as the director of athletics? I mean, when you got there and where you are today, is it a different job?
Oh, it is a different job. I mean, honestly, the first year I was the athletic director, I was still the head football coach at Belton High School. That was prior to Lake Belton opening. We had to go through all the ordering process for Lake Belton High School. And then we ran right into COVID in that spring. And so we had all the shutdowns and whatever it has. But, my job is to help coaches coach and help grow coaches and be a resource and a support structure for our coaches and our athletes. The brunt of the work is going to happen on the campus level with our campus coordinators, our girls coordinators, our head coaches. And so my main job is to be a resource for them, be an advocate for them, be a support structure for them. And I may be biased, but I think we have some of the best head coaches in the area throughout all our programs. I mean, our head coaches are just wonderful. They do a great job getting our kids ready to compete, building good leaders. And so I think we've become a district of a lot of exceptional head coaches and young coaches. So that's kind of my role. And I get to go and celebrate and watch a bunch of kids compete and keep winning. And yeah, it's long nights, but it's so awesome to see the look on those kids' face when they win the by district or area, or they're playing Lake Belton softball last year, taking the first game of a 3-game series from number 1 in the nation, Melissa. It's just seeing that excitement in the kids' face makes it all worthwhile, and just being there for the coaches.
I lied to you. I said that was the last question. This, I promise, will be the last question. What is going on in that community? Why is Belton exploding? I mean, it's a beautiful place. There's no question about it. But what are some of the reasons why people are looking to Belton, Texas to relocate?
I think, both City of Temple and City of Belton have done a great job with their downtowns and reinvigorating those. And I think it's just a slower pace of life that people, it's a different type of friendliness that goes on here. And, our school districts are top notch. It's just a smaller town feel that's big. When I first got to Belton, it was a lot smaller than what it is now. But, I'm a small town guy, but you have all the amenities you need. You're in a great location between Waco and Austin if you need to go to somewhere else. And it's just a great place to live and raise their kids. Ultimately, that's why I've made this my home. This is where I want to raise my kids.
Sam, thanks. I do appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man with the 2 campuses, and we didn't even get into all the junior high things. I mean, how many junior high campuses?
We have 4. So we actually have 3 high schools. We have Belton and Lake Belton, and we have Belton New Tech, which is a school of choice they have golf, tennis, swimming, and cross country. So they have limited extracurriculars, but then we have the 4 middle schools. And so I think last year, 7th through 12th grade, we had 2,900 kids in athletics.
Wow. it's a lot of kiddos to manage and take care of, but you guys do a great job, and I wish you continued success. Thanks for the time. And if we can ever do anything for you, let us know.
Will do. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. We'll see you later. That's the Director of Athletics for the Belton Independent School District, Sam Skidmore. Lark, as you know, there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to being the Director of Athletics, but can you imagine multi-campuses, three high school campuses, junior high campuses? There's 2,900 kiddos that he's got to make sure that are taken care of, that they have the correct gear, all of those type things that sometimes we take for granted, but he can't.
and take care of things like yesterday when Colleen didn't have their field ready, and probably I'm going to guess either the coach or the athletic director at Colleen called Sam and said, "Hey, do you have a place that we can play?" And luckily, Lake Belton was not at home last night, so Midway and Colleen could meet there at a really nice facility. Just some of those things that come up on a daily basis for athletic directors, and again, that's part of the reason why a lot of these schools have separated the job of football coach and athletic directors, because there's so much more to have to take care of nowadays when you've got the girls' athletics and esports. And he was talking about New Tech and some of the things that they do with New Tech that's not football or baseball or basketball related. I mean, there's just so much more to take care of than there was for a football coach that went, okay, it's in the football season, now let's take care of softball.
Yeah, and I will tell you this, in today's society, there's a lot more clerical that goes into athletics. There's a lot more paperwork than when you and I were youngsters. Of course, we played with a square ball. We're so old. Anyway, all right, so Sam Skidmore with us. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to jump in and visit with Kyle Youmans, talk some Cowboy football here on the program. I want to say thanks to Jace and Katie Embry. You know that name. If you've lived in Central Texas for more than 5 minutes, you know the Embry family. They're just synonymous with Waco and Central Texas, and want to thank them for their partnership over at JK Roofing. JK Roofing, they can do traditional shingles, they can do a metal roof, they do repair, they do a full restoration, whatever the case may be. They'll be more than happy to come out and give you a quote and go from there. It's jkroofs.com. That's jkroofs.com. And here's the phone number. It's 254-744-2211. 254-744-2211. That's JK Roofs. We'll take the break, and we're right back with more in just a moment.
Shopping for insurance shouldn't feel like a guessing game or a root canal. At Barfield Show Insurance Group, a division of TWFG, we make it easy and maybe even a little fun. Need auto, home, life, or business insurance? We've got you covered, literally. We work with multiple top-rated companies to find the right fit for you, so you get great coverage at a price that won't make you wince. Because our goal is simple: the highest quality insurance at lowest price possible. Call Barfield Show Insurance Group today at 469-579-4982 for your free quote. Better coverage, better rates, better call.
Since 1996, Double R Old Fashioned Hamburgers at 18th and Herring has been serving Waco's best burger. There's nothing better than a delicious burger cooked just the way you like it, with garden fresh toppings on a buttered bun. Add tots, fries, curly fries, or onion rings for a perfect meal. So what are you waiting on? How about Double R Old Fashioned Hamburgers today? Double R Old Fashioned Hamburgers is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Double R Old Fashioned Hamburgers. And don't forget to ask about Double R's catering. Being stuck on the side of the road is stressful no matter what time it is. Tow King is here to help. A locally owned and operated family-run business, Tow King offers 24-hour emergency roadside assistance with trained operators and high-caliber equipment for damage-free towing. Tow King of Waco is a company you can count on. Call Tow King the next time you need help. Check them out on Facebook, and remember, slow down or move over. Family owned and operated, Jasper's Barbecue is serving up Texas-style barbecue meats and sandwiches and all the fixins. Enjoy mouth-watering brisket, ribs, pulled pork, and don't forget the potato salad and barbecue beans. Located in Waco on Elm Street, right off of I-35, open Tuesday through Saturday 10 until 2 or until the food runs out. Stop by today and enjoy the best barbecue around. Voted one of the best barbecue joints by Texas Monthly. That's Jasper's Barbecue in Waco. You won't leave hungry.
Morrison's Gifts, Waco's oldest family-owned gift store, wants to ask a question to the guys out there. Don't you just love gift giving? Does John Hart, Consuela, or Jellycats mean anything to you? If not, at Morrison's, we have your answers and your back. For 47 years, we have guided men and you ladies through the trauma of selecting the right gift for the right person. Come and see us at 4312 West Waco Drive in the Brazos Square Center, close to Jason's Deli. That's Morrison's Gifts, owned by a proud Baylor Bear.
All right, we're back as we talk sports on this Wednesday. We are brought to you in part by our good friends over at Benchmark Construction. You can check them out at benchmarkc3.com. That's benchmarkc3.com. David and his team do a terrific job, whether it's disaster relief, construction, environmental remediation, indoor air quality solutions, whatever the case may be, they can take great care of you over there. Over 30 years of experience, and you know they're a big giver back to the community. I know that they work real closely with an organization called The Hangar, which is a day shelter for the homeless here in Waco and Central Texas. Great folks. So if you need construction, you need some repair work, whatever the case may be, reach out to our friends at Benchmark Construction. Talk to David, talk to Marie, and all the folks over there. They'll be happy to take great care of you. All right, let's talk with our buddy Kyle Youmans from the Dallas Cowboys broadcast team. Kyle, good morning. How are my kiddos? How are those three little kiddos?
They're good. They're growing quick. They're starting to understand. I'm trying to teach them the good of the Cowboys, and like whenever my daughter, whenever she points at the star, she goes football now. So she gets it. She understands like what's going on. So trying to get them into the sports element of it, but really we're just having fun as a group.
And some may not know, but so we're going to kind of get them up today. We don't want to go too far behind the curtain in the Youmans family, but you guys get pregnant, and then you're informed that it's more than one,
more than two, and then it ended up being three. And yeah, that was wild because we had gotten married in May of 2023. And by August of 2023, we figured out that we were pregnant and went to the doctor's office. They said, hey, there's another one in here. Oh, look, there's a third one. And by that point, I thought they were joking. I thought that was a complete practical joke on their end. I said, nice one, Doc. Appreciate you, all your hard work. But yeah, you don't need to joke around. Sure enough, we weren't joking. Spontaneous triplets. And man, at that point, all I was really concerned about was the health of the babies and then the health of my wife, of course. And everybody ended up happy and healthy, a little bit of a NICU stay. We had the best doctors and nurses in the world to take care of them. And then as we got out there, now we've got three happy, healthy babies and a mom that's a little overstimulated, a dad that's a little overstimulated, but we're all happy at the same time.
I was going to say, there are challenges, I would suspect, with triplets, but in your line of work where you're gone day and night sometimes, that probably presents some other challenges that other folks may not have to incur.
Yeah, especially on both sides. I think from my wife's standpoint, of course, I'm gone through the day and I have a 9 to 5 with the Cowboys and I'm expected to be in the office. And then I've got games at night where I'm calling college football or basketball or baseball or whatever sport it ends up being. And so I have to kind of delegate whenever it comes to how I'm available and where I'm going with the family. But then work also sees the same thing too, where they're like, where's Kyle? And nobody really knows it parts of the time, except for my direct reports. And I make sure and send them a schedule every week. Hey, here's where I'm doing family time. Here's where I'm doing professional freelance work outside of the Cowboys. And so it ends up being a balancing act, but we get it all done. And we've got a great support system that helps us achieve what is really impossible without them.
Okay, let's switch gears here. Talk a little bit about the draft. Sometimes, I mean, I feel like my head's going to explode. I've read so much stuff. Talk me through trading up, trading down. Where do you see this, or drafting where they're scheduled to draft? I mean, does anybody really know at this point what's best for this organization other than the folks inside the building?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with those that understand the draft process and what goes into scouting these players, whether it's from a on-person insight during college football season and actually getting eyes on these players, but then also the personality side. A lot of people just watch tape and that's what they build their draft boards off of. And there's nothing wrong with that. Tape is the biggest thing when it comes to the NFL draft. But there are so many different elements that these organizations are going to throw into trying to pick the best player that's going to fit their franchise and push them toward a Super Bowl. And Dallas is one that will expend no effort, or they'll expend all the effort, I should say, whenever it comes to finding out these draft elements in these draft process and these draft prospects to know which one is the best fit off the field just as much as they are on the field. So then you got to take a look at the elements of what it takes to trade up. It's either going to take players or it's going to take draft capital. Those are the two ways you can scenario why it would make sense to move up. And remember, as many times as you're going to run a draft simulation and you're going to try and look at mock drafts and people are going to see the what they call the trade charts for those that are new to the NFL draft or haven't covered it as closely. There are certain trade charts that these teams use. Everybody's is different, and they all find different values in terms of it, even though there is kind of a consensus trade point board. Each pick is divvied up into certain points, and in order to trade this many draft picks for this pick, it needs to equal out on the trade chart. So that's where you see a lot of the conversations in draft media where the Cowboys could look to move up to number 6. To trade with the Cleveland Browns. They could move up to number 9 with the Kansas City Chiefs. And reasons why those are kind of specific is either one, the teams are okay with trading out. Cleveland, for instance, has been very vocal about they'll entertain options if it's the right deal for them. They don't mind trading out of the 6th overall pick. Dallas could be a team that, of course, is enticed to maybe trade up and go get a defensive playmaker, especially when you have 2 first-round picks that you can kind of play with there. So the back and forth that I always have with fans is Dallas can trade up and trade all of this draft capital to go get there. But why would Cleveland be okay with this? You always got to ask that question. Why would they do this? Why would the Kansas City Chiefs do this? Is it beneficial for their franchise and what they're trying to do? So there's so many different elements and teeter-tottering back and forth. So Dallas with 12 and 20 has the possibility to move up. They have the possibility to move down. And I personally think, at least out of the scenarios in the draft, the mock drafts that we've run so far, I would move up. I would not sit and pick at 12 and 20. You might get lucky, and that sounds great, and one of your top prospects falls to you, and I think that is a possibility. But my goodness, I would 1,000% try and trade up and go get yourself a bona fide starter that's going to carry you a long way from there.
Well, let me ask you, on your draft board, based off a need, is the edge rusher number 1 in your mind?
You know, it's interesting. It's edge rusher, but also linebacker. I think they need a linebacker more, but when you're talking about the NFL draft, it's hard for me to place an off-ball linebacker in terms of position value in front of a blue-chip edge rusher prospect. If you're lining them up and you're talking about off-ball linebackers in this draft, you're mentioning the C.J. Allens out of Georgia, the Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. And I love Sonny Styles, but if you have the ability to get a David Bailey from Texas Tech or a Reuben Bain Jr., there's maybe some questions on us off the field stuff right now that's going on for Reuben Bain. Teams are trying to sort through that themselves. But I would have a conversation about those 2 guys before I would even have a conversation over Styles or Allen, depending on where Dallas ends up going. But that's just because edge rushers are harder to find later in the draft. You can find them, and they're diamonds in the rough, and that's why you draft edge rushers later on. But if you want a starting caliber day 1 edge rusher, you kind of need to get them in the top 15 picks of the NFL draft, or else you're probably going to have to see some development, kind of like what we saw last year from Donovan Ezeraku. Great player, awesome prospect. Dallas was ecstatic to get him in the 2nd round. However, still needed some time to develop, and I think we saw that as the season went on. Whereas linebacker, it's mostly just a durability thing. They're expected to be in the league a lot less than maybe some of the higher tier edge rushers that are in the NFL. A linebacker's lifespan in the NFL is probably 8 to 10 years if they're really good. And their prime is really 4 to 5 years, where a prime edge rusher can really last 10 years. And you've got an opportunity to maybe push past that as well. So lots of back and forth and position value and a lot of intriguing conversations that Dallas needs. I wouldn't go too far to say corner is also right there with those three. They could draft any of those three positions in the first round, and I think I'd be okay with it.
Kyle, it's funny. Right here, I have the name David Bailey. So I want to ask you about David Bailey. From your chair, how far up do they have to go if they've got this guy circled on their board? How far up would they have to go? Would they have to go all the way up to 3 to Arizona?
I think so. I think that's where you've got to do it, because if he doesn't go, and Arizona probably wouldn't take him at 3, but what they would do is open the door for a team at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to do it. And one of those teams is going to pull the trigger and go get a guy like Bailey, who is a versatile edge rusher, younger guy too, just did a ton with Texas Tech, was really the heart and soul of that defense, along with some really talented players on the back end as well. But I know Dallas is very interested in David Bailey. I don't know if they're willing to part with what they would have to part ways with to go from 12 to 3 and make it happen to put him in a Cowboys uniform. It would be wild, and it would be a lot of fun to see it all. But I think for Dallas, the conversation at moving up really begins at 6.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. It's not because of the play. It's because they need not a player, they need players. And that's probably one of the reasons why they wouldn't give up all that draft capital.
Yeah, because even if you move up to 6, there's a scenario based off of the consensus trade charts. So let me be very clear there. Off of the consensus trade charts, that you can trade 12 and 20 to go up to 6, but also still get 39 back from Cleveland. So you would ultimately be picking in Cleveland spots in the first 2 rounds, and you would still get 2 players in the top 40 of the NFL draft, which I think Cowboys fans would be very happy with, especially when one of those is a top 6 player. So instead of waiting and picking at 12 and 20, where you get 2 top 20 players in the draft, which I think is still a very good haul, but you would have to wait at 12 and maybe get a Mansour Delane, maybe get a Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon, Delane out of LSU, maybe get a Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. And then at 20, you would have to settle with a CJ Allen at Georgia, or another, I'm trying to think of top 20 guys on the back end there too. You would really be better served to go get a Sonny Styles, who's going to be your linebacker of the future. Or you could go get a Caleb Downs, who's going to be a back-end playmaker with the likes of Kyle Hamilton on the Baltimore Ravens and what he's done the last couple of years. Same kind of player and prospect that Caleb Downs is bringing, maybe even a little bit better. And you've got that to be the safety blanket and the umbrella over the top of a new make and a new look Cowboys defense. And then at 39, you still end up getting a top level edge rusher, like maybe a Romello Height, or maybe Mesidor Falls, or some of these other high end guys that you could possibly get that make your team a lot better.
Kyle, and I'm going to ask the question based off of information. I think the information is far greater now than it used to be, although Gil Brandt used to have a ton of information. The Cowboys at one point would always draft off of the philosophy of best football player available, best athlete available. Now, is it really need based now, particularly the way the defense and the situation the defense is in now? Is it more we're position need, side of the football need, more so than best athlete available?
You know, it's interesting because Brian Schottenheimer was asked this question a couple weeks ago at the Texas Pro Day, and his response was, "We feel like we've done a good enough job to draft pure." They want to draft whole and they want to draft pure, which is basically a different way of saying draft the best player available, BPA. And I've been a very big proponent of BPA in the past. No matter what you have on your team, take the best football player and then figure the rest out. And I don't know if Cowboys fans are ready if that conversation is to come up on draft weekend and they see an offensive player taken, just because of how bad the defense was. The defense was horrible in 2025. They don't want to be horrible there in 2026. And with so much invested on the offensive side of the ball, I think you can realistically say defense is the need and the number one priority. However, if they get to a spot, let's say they do stay put at 12 and 20, and they do stay put and an offensive tackle falls, you could move on from Terrence Steele and maybe chop some of that money or trade him or try and find a different workaround, or maybe even a different alignment in terms of your front five. If you have a first round caliber offensive tackle available, maybe you take him and put him at right tackle or left tackle. You haven't necessarily been super happy with Tyler Guyton the last couple of years. Maybe you swing him back to right tackle and you play your starter at left. So I think there's options there. One of these wide receivers, let's say they don't feel great about the George Pickens scenario and what he's doing with the franchise tag at the moment. I haven't heard anything specific, so this is just a hypothetical. But if he's maybe in question on whether he would play on the tag in 2026, then you take Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. You take Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. These high-end first-round caliber wide receivers that are falling to you at 12 and will probably be there for the taking. But for me, I think it's more likely you're going to see the best player available that plays on the defensive side. That's where I think this is ultimately going to land for Dallas, because even if they wanted to take those offensive players and make an argument for it, I still think it's a back-end need that they're trying to fill, and they might as well fill a frontline need with a player that could come in and start immediately on the defense.
Great stuff, as always. And we get to do this for a couple more weeks before the draft, so looking forward to it. And there's always moving parts, and it's interesting to me that so much of this is predicated on what happens on draft day, isn't it? I mean, as what's in front of you, what's behind you, all of that kind of dictates what you're going to do with when you're on the clock.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's where Dallas needs to really be right this year. And it's hard to pick. It is hard to predict what's going to happen in front of you, but you got 11 spots in front of you in the NFL draft this year. And if you're going to spend the capital to move up and go get a guy, you need to be certain on what's happening in 1 through 11 to be able to know whether it's worth it, or maybe it's worth the risk to stay back. And maybe they do stay back and they stick and pick, and that's fine. And they're able to use that to their advantage, just knowing what happens in front. They always run simulations. This is a team that is very mock draft based, and they started meetings yesterday in the war room where all the scouts are going prospect by prospect down the board, and they'll stack their board starting this week up until the NFL draft process, now that the meetings and the combine and the Senior Bowl and all that stuff are done. So this is a crucial week, because once they stack their board, then they'll go through mock simulations. And these are kind of like the simulations that you and I do, except they have high-level intel, or trying to find high-level intel from these other schools, these other franchises, these other organizations, and trying to figure out what these other 11 teams are going to be doing. And if they end up with those first 11 picks right, then they're going to be really confident on what they do draft day, because if they're confident in what's happening in front of them, they know when they need to pull the trigger to go forward, or when they need to hit the parachute and parachute out, trade down in the first round. They'll have that in the back of their mind, but it's all based off of being right. And a lot of times it is an impossible animal to predict the NFL draft. There's going to be names called on night one, even maybe before the Cowboys, that everybody's saying, where did that come from? And then there are going to be names that slip to Dallas, and they're going to have to make a decision on why did they fall? Is it worth the risk on why they fell in order for something to turn into a pick for Dallas?
Great stuff. And I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk to you again next week.
You bet. Kyle Youmans with the Dallas Cowboys. That's great information, Lark. Just, and it can be, it can be overwhelming with all the information that's out there and all the drafts and mock drafts and everything that's going on. Nobody knows. Unless you're in that room and your last name is probably Jones or something to that degree, you don't know, do you?
No, you really don't. And there's 14 million mock drafts out there online that people look at, and some of them will line up and some of them will be totally off base. And it's a crapshoot. Yeah, you just have to wait till draft day and find out what happens.
Indeed. We will in a couple of weeks. I believe it's April the 23rd is the start of the NFL draft for 2026. Hey, we're brought to you in part today by our good friends at Morrison's Gifts, Sally and Mark, and all the fine folks over at Morrison's Gifts. They're 4312 West Waco Drive. That's in the Brazos Square Shopping Center. They're right down from Jason's Deli. So just right down the strip center. Guys, we got graduations coming up. We got Mother's Day coming up. There's birthdays. There's anniversaries. There's all kinds of things on your particular calendar. None of us really want to spend a lot of time shopping. We just don't. We like to get that gift and get on down the road and figure out what else we got to get done. So, hey, if you, all you got to do is go see Sally. Say, Sally, I'm looking for a blank gift. It's Mother's Day. It's whatever. Give her kind of an idea what you're looking for. She may say, you know what, let's go John Hart. Let's go Consuela. Let's, something like that, and give you a couple of options, give you some, you give her a kind of a budget, and she takes care of you. She'll take great care of you. They're at 4312 West Waco Drive. It's Morrison's Gifts, and tell them we sent you by.
When disaster strikes, you need a team you can trust. At Benchmark, we specialize in disaster recovery, construction, environmental remediation, and indoor air quality solutions. With over 30 years of experience, our experts provide forensic architecture, engineering, and environmental consulting to ensure every project is handled with precision and care. From damage assessment to full reconstruction, Benchmark delivers technical expertise and an unmatched client experience every step of the way. Visit benchmarkc3.com to learn more.
At Waco Bodyman Company, we help you take control of your health with advanced wellness and longevity solutions designed to help your body perform, recover, and thrive. Experience the power of red light therapy with our full body bed design to reduce inflammation, improve circulation, support skin health, and recharge your body at the cellular level. Step into our hydrotherapy room featuring a dry sauna, polar shower, and hot tub. Book your tour today. Waco Bodyman, open 7 days a week in downtown Waco.
Being stuck on the side of the road is stressful no matter what time it is. Tow King is here to help. A locally owned and operated family-run business, Tow King offers 24-hour emergency roadside assistance with trained operators and high-caliber equipment for damage-free towing. Tow King of Waco is a company you can count on. Call Tow King the next time you need help. Check them out on Facebook, and remember, slow down or move over.
Is your roof ready for the next Texas storm? Don't wait for a small leak to become a big problem. Call JK Roofing of Waco. Whether you need roof repair, a full replacement, or a professional inspection, JK Roofing has quality workmanship and dependable service you can count on. Locally owned and committed to protecting Central Texas homes and businesses. Call JK Roofing today for your free estimate and get the job done right the first time. Call JK Roofing 254-744-2211. JK Roofing of Waco. Strong roofs, honest work, and peace of mind.
All right, welcome back to the program. This is the Tom Barfield Show, and we're brought to you in part by Double R Old Fashioned Hamburgers, 18th and Herring, open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4:30, Saturdays, 10 until 2. Lark Smith, a lot of sporting events taking place last night, more coming up this weekend.
Yep, we've got several games going on today, especially in softball. In Big 12 softball, you got Baylor going up against UTA at UTA, and also A&M is at home against McNeese. Of course, the Rangers are playing at 1:30 this afternoon, finishing that series with Seattle. The Astros are in Colorado. They're finishing this afternoon with that particular series.
Did you mean the first place Rangers?
Yes, the first place.
Okay, I just wanted some clarification. That's all.
Also, I've got baseball at Bosque River Ballpark this afternoon, starting at 12 noon. We got the Highlanders hosting the Vernon Chaparrals. Hill is at North Central, and Temple is at home against Ranger. That's all junior college softball and baseball. So that's going on, and
that's a working man special, isn't it? 12 noon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to be having a good time. And there was all kinds of high school baseball and softball last night, but we do not necessarily have time to go over that. We did just get a message a moment ago that the baseball game between Bryan and Midway, scheduled for Friday, has been moved to Thursday.
I
7 o'clock
that
Thursday
that's
night.
going to happen, don't you?
Yeah, because the
Potential.
weatherman says it might rain.
Yeah. So, for clarification, Midway is at Bryan, and it's going to be Thursday night instead of Friday night.
That's correct.
All right. Good,
7 o'clock.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. And I would suspect that there's going to be some other games that are going to be moved around because of the potential for inclement weather.
There you go.
You don't want to get too far behind, particularly late in the season like this. So there you go. All right. We got to get a break. We'll look ahead to tomorrow. We'll do that next here on the Tom Barfield Show.
Being stuck on the side of the road is stressful no matter what time it is. Tow King is here to help. A locally owned and operated family-run business, Tow King offers 24-hour emergency roadside assistance with trained operators and high-caliber equipment for damage-free towing. Tow King of Waco is a company you can count on. Call Tow King the next time you need help. Check them out on Facebook, and remember, slow down or move over.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
At Waco Bodyman Company, we help you take control of your health with advanced wellness and longevity solutions designed to help your body perform, recover, and thrive. Experience the power of red light therapy with our full body bed design to reduce inflammation, improve circulation, support skin health, and recharge your body at the cellular level. Step into our hydrotherapy room featuring a dry sauna, polar shower, and hot tub. Book your tour today. Waco Bodyman, open 7 days a week in downtown Waco.
When disaster strikes, you need a team you can trust. At Benchmark, we specialize in disaster recovery, construction, environmental remediation, and indoor air quality solutions. With over 30 years of experience, our experts provide forensic architecture, engineering, and environmental consulting to ensure every project is handled with precision and care. From damage assessment to full reconstruction, Benchmark delivers technical expertise and an unmatched client experience every step of the way. Visit benchmarkc3.com to learn more.
Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatment, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
All right, you're back with us on the program. We're brought to you in part by Lake Waco Golf Club, a semi-private facility on the north side of the lake. 18-hole par 3, 18-hole regulation course, swimming pool, all kinds of amenities. Great clubhouse, great bar and grill. It's all available for you. WacoGC.com. That's WacoGC.com or 254-756-2161. All right, Lark. Big takeaway, anything earth-shattering that you learned today on this riveting 60-minute plus program?
Yeah, with that, we need to shorten up some segments.
It is what it is. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks for being a part of the program. Thanks to Sam Skidmore from Belton ISD for being on the show. Thanks to Kyle Youmans. Thanks to Lark. And thanks to you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.